Lovely.
They say when you meet the love of your life, time stops. And that's true.
Okay. We're done electronics to actually get going with this game. let's get involved. What am I supposed to be doing? I want to go outside.
Tuition-free college? Yes, really. If your family income is $65,000 or less, Vermont State University can be free through freedom and unity. Your future starts now.
I'm a different person. I have never in my life felt this way about any other woman. Jesus! I wasn't counting your mother!
It's a perfect holiday comedy about an imperfect family.
You can use that screen, Ella.
Starring Emma Mackey, Jamie Lee Curtis, Camille Nanjiani, Iowa Devery, with Albert Brooks and Woody Harrelson.
You should do that every afternoon.
Ella McKay, rated PG-13.
She's cheating. No. Love playing.
Wanna hear you say the simple word to pray. Are you listening?
I do this because it's a game.
Breaking it down now, figuring you out, get you whispering. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Ignore it as much as I can. Then go back to the mission.
Words of pray, pray, words of pray, pray, words of pray, pray, words of pray,
And who cares?
holy as we are, I like it in your car, happy nothing day. Feeling this part out as leaves fall to the ground, love that I can taste. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Words of pray. Words of pray. Words of pray. Words of pray. Moving through the pain, my favorite little stain. Can you hear me now? If days can move so slow, I wanted you to know how I feel out loud. Oh my God. Oh my
Okay. Update that now. Just now.
A dream is a wish your heart made. Step aboard a Disney cruise and discover where memories meet adventure, where escape meets imagination, where magic meets the sea. Disney Cruise Line.
Kraft mac and cheese is the best thing ever. It's even better than pop music. You look just as natural enjoying us at age 13 as you do 55. Kraft mac and cheese. Best thing ever.
Uninstall.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses come with open-ear audio, so you can listen to your favorite music without blocking out the world around you.
Hey Meta, play Gorgeous.
Here's
Gorgeous by Doja Cat.
You can also ask Meta AI questions.
Hey Meta, when's Doja Cat's next concert?
Doja Cat is playing at the Los Angeles Theater next Tuesday.
Sweet.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, available at Ray-Ban stores and other authorized retailers.
A December day is the perfect time to hit up your group chat, grab an ice-cold Mountain Dew with a refreshing citrus kick, and make the most of every moment that's left in the season. Because when the outdoors calls, it's good to have exhilarating ice-cold refreshment to answer.
Really? Where is the U play?
Do the do.
Huh? I thought I had Ubisoft installed. Strange. Ooh. Okay, that explains it. Hold on for a minute. That explains it. There. I'm off thumbs right now. There. That looks better. Control V. Okay. Now let's try it. Yeah. Okay. Since you are going that way, I'll check other stuff. Box. Continue. Of course. Okay. Scene 3. Control C. Control V. Okay, must be in the Firefox side. B. B. Enter. Okay, connect. Ubisoft. Let's see. Control B. Login. Continue. Oh, I thought I already had that. Okay, I thought I already had this installed. Sure. 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 I don't care. Yep. Play. There.
It's never too late to go back to school, and now it could be tuition-free. Vermont State University's Freedom and Unity is making college possible for Vermonters with family income of $65,000 or less. Choose from flexible career-focused programs in healthcare, education, tech, and more. Whether you're changing careers or leveling up, VTSU helps you move forward. Learn more and apply today at vermontstate.edu.
They're all AI.
Silent nights, total drag. But incredible holiday deals are happening now on Bose.com. Bose products deliver full, rich sound with the power to transform boring into anything but. Find something for everyone on your list and big savings right now on Bose.com. Holidays deserve music. Music deserves Bose. Shop Bose.com/Spotify.
Gain Super Flings are here to take your laundry to the next level. Talking about Gain Super Flings. Super size laundry packs. These things are huge. Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings. Gain Super Flings laundry packs have 4 times the Oxy cleaning power and 3 times the Febreze freshness versus Gain Original Liquid. Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings. Gain Super Flings for next level laundry.
Lovely.
Prepare for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight. Double kill.
Okay. Good game, but a lot more games to go, so. Not really. Cuba.
Save big and get job ready with a free college degree. If your household income is under $100,000, you are eligible for free tuition and fees at the Community College of Vermont. 802 Opportunity is available to new or returning students of any age who do not already have a bachelor's degree. Up to 70% of Vermont households are eligible. Join us this spring and discover all that CCV has to offer. Classes start February 26th. Visit ccv.edu/802 to apply.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses come with open-ear audio, so you can listen to your favorite music without blocking out the world around you.
Hey, Meta, play Gorgeous.
Here's Gorgeous by Doja Cat.
You can also ask Meta AI questions.
Hey, Meta, when's Doja Cat's next concert?
Doja Cat is playing at the Los Angeles Theater next Tuesday.
Sweet.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, available at Ray-Ban stores and other authorized retailers.
A December day is the perfect
Trained
time.
Christians can capture the music with our ice cold mountain dew. There are some days we teach just have in his car, and that's the next week full system. But university is not rely on the platform for us to
Have ice cold refreshment to
also serves senior professor of church. He also has opportunities in middle school seminary, and author of Natal Languages. As part of my question series, when I think again, on here. So you all know you as a musician and as a writer who's written or co-written many modern classics, thinking of like or Christ Broken, like that. One of my favorite things, that was there for the never too. But I also know you in that context. But you also pastor in the church, and you're serving pastor, and most of that music in your church when you were serving. You see that side of your ministry, and not like stage, not music necessarily, but just ministry in the whole church. What's that like for you? Well, I grew up in a pastor's home, and I love for a little church from a young age, and enjoyed being part of the church, being reared in the church, loving people, loving Christ, and that role was so formative in my life. It's just I feel like I wanted to contribute. And so even as a teenager, I was going to be the church music, and from the age of 15 was leading song, and also writing songs. And so from that point, I never looked back. So for 31 years now, I've been involved in church music one way or the other, either reading on Sunday mornings or writing songs behind the scene, and now serving as preaching on Sundays. But still involved in music in our church. It means so much to me. I like to keep it far from me. Okay. Back to your early childhood, when you first began in music. What was the inspiration that first attracted you, and how did you get into being more involved in church music growing up?
Well, at the age of 15, I started seeing the beauty of Christ in a very clear way. The only thing I knew to do was sing about it. And at the time, for the mid-90s, very simple music was being sung from church to church. And so I started writing very simple songs on guitar. As a matter of fact, I started playing bass guitar, first time youth band, a very grateful opportunity. And then our student minister moved to church, leading us back there at age 15. And so I learned 3 words and truth and work. And then from there, we moved into chapel on Sunday mornings. A great opportunity. And for even the lack of leadership that had to feel myself, and grateful to the Lord for the opportunity to set me up.
What your pastor, or whoever was elders were in charge there, so see, when you just seeing a young guy who has suggested there was giving the opportunity, like, what was their mindset and leadership role? Well, at the start, my dad was a pastor, and so it was really wonderful. Actually, I started music in the church. And yes, I think the system with there's a young guy who is passionate about Jesus, who is not addicted to music, but we develop that and let's support him and encourage that along the way. Yeah, just I think people right now, pastors, which is perhaps listening, think of young people in their churches who might be that same kind of young experience, like years, desire, interest there, that they just never know what to do, as the flame of passion in the around us. And I think this is really amazing and encouraging.
In that regard, I would say I do encourage young people to use the gift of the life of Christ. I want to make sure, as was my case, that giving doesn't have to be stirred. And I want to make sure, as we're cultivating young musicians for the church, we care as much about spiritual formation as their musical gift. Because in my case, I was using my musical gift, my character was lacking spirit. And so it took a few years for me to develop the foundation that I actually needed to minister from. And so yes, I do think we should encourage young musicians to pursue the gifts in the church. But let's make sure that the discipleship of a person and formation of the soul is equally due.
I think that's a dangerous thing, have to take for a young musician, and by virtue of the actual word itself, literally on stage, on a platform, performing for other people. That's
getting your places to begin. Because we were made to stage. We were made to serve the Lord and serve people. And sometimes decisions are necessary just for practical uses. But what can happen quickly is we fall in love with spotlights and pressure groups and so forth, instead of prioritizing love of Jesus and service to church. I think the point where you, I think religion, I think make music as a career. Music is a part of my whole vocation to be making music, writing music, performing music. Okay, go back to 1995. Okay, so it's a temporary time frame with open transparency. Okay, that's what there's no idea. So open transparency is a projector that sat in the room and put a clear piece of paper on it and see there's a classic printed clear sign. So if you sing songs that weren't in your hymnal, you have to be able to project it and built-in start falling out of those. So go ahead and project things while you sing songs. Well, in that time, you would see top of page the name of the song. Then you would clear the lyrics. And at the very bottom of page, and very small print, was who wrote the song, what the publishing company was, what the year was written. And from that point, I wanted to be that little name at the bottom of transparency of who wrote the song. The same way in hymnal, that's what grabbed my attention. I wanted to do this. I wanted to write songs that the church sing, praise God. And so yes, I didn't think I could make a career of it. I would say I did. I wanted to work in the church. Yes, I've always wanted to serve the Lord vocationally in context of church ministry. And in a family full of pastors, I wanted to be a music writer. So it's very clear from engagements that God made you do. So Matt, that's helping me cross right. If I don't like my church's music, before we jump into when we're feeling dissatisfied with our church's music, what is the stage for us? Like, just answering a pretty simple but maybe very profound question. Why is singing together in church so important for us as Christians, so important for our Christian lives together? Well, it's vital. It traces all the way back to the very beginning. If you go all the way back to the story of Genesis 15, the first thing that God people do on the other side of deliverance is to stop and sing. And they remember and rehearse together what God has done for them on their path. Singing in our context has a very similar function, doesn't it? We are remembering and retelling the greatness and glory and salvation of what God has done for us in Christ. And so not everyone is called to lead public prayer, not everyone preaches. All of us have a ministry of singing within the body of Christ, just by raising our voice and professing the faith most of our saints. I love that. I love the way often I use ministry in church as the people on stage are serving the church and being worshiped and singing. That's certainly true. But I love the way that runs it. All of us as sing together are your serving and ministering each other. You have a microphone, you have a great voice. That is actually true ministry when you form our churches. That's right. I try to show that in the book. And that's not the tell us that's not the highest aim of singing. You have to save that for it being an expression of worship unto God. But a part of this vertical sense in which we sing to the Lord, there's also a real horizontal nature of singing, where we sing to one another as a means of encouragement, as a means of cycle making, where the word of God can dwell spiritually. Singing together as a church body is one of the most precious things we have as pastors. People often ask me, just on Friday, Saturday, where to preach. And my first response is, I'll be ready to sing. And that's not just throwing confidence. I mean, there's something about standing side by side with people that I know and love, knowing what they are walking through, knowing what they have walked through, and singing praise God together through great joys, through real trial, and lift our voices together is a great thing. I definitely resonate with that. But I think one of the realities, though, is that for some people, they might say that that's not what it feels like. I don't feel the way you just described your experience singing. I don't feel that my church on Sunday. You have other people in your congregation or in your circles. Well, I do believe we're commanded to sing, and I believe singing should play a part of every Christian's life. We have songs to sing because of Christ. And yet, there are Sundays where I know I've walked in, where I know people walk in, and I don't expect them always to sing. I think there are times where it's just fine to sit and listen to God's people sing over you, sing around you, when you can't sing yourself, have the church sing in close. And I don't mean to belittle that. There are times of real suffering where I think that is a very appropriate response. Even in a normal gathering for me, there's usually a moment or two I stop singing myself and listen to this because I need that church as well. So I always ask persons why they don't sing. Is it because they don't feel like they're gifted to sing? Some people their voices are too low, too high. That sounds good. Somebody go around, or maybe we're holding age. You don't have voice. You know, so many surgery people look through. It's not the beauty of the person's voice ultimately that the Lord cares about. It's the heart that brings the song that He wants. It's the song of salvation that He's placed within the heart that He wants to be sung. And here's that mission sing throughout Scripture, singing 500 times in the Bible of Old and New Testaments. Commend the practice of singing. And yet, in 2004, it's a masterpiece. But singing is just self-speaking. Just move your voice up and down. And really, it's that simple. So everyone can be a part of this. You don't have to be musical to sing. You just want to stand with people God and raise your voice in this great redeeming choir. Well, you run through three different scenarios. So first one, what about someone just struggling with this style of music that their church tends to sing? It's wrong, but it's just different. It's hard to connect. We say person connects. Well, I would begin by acknowledging that style of music does matter. It's not for sure. It does matter. And we each have strong opinions on what music should be. We'll have strong passions about music. But when it comes to church music and gathering with people, it is a call to lay down. We want to lay our soul apart. We want to come in with an open hand and a ready voice to join in with God's people, regardless of the style of music. And style doesn't matter. It doesn't matter ultimately. It's not a great decision in why we're sing. It is being served, but there are great reasons I want to focus that person's interest in. Yeah, I think that would be the answer. Another possible challenge that might feel when it comes to singing in your church would be when you feel like the quality of the music, the quality of the performances, let's say, is just maybe subpar. And it's just a distraction on a basis. We say that you're struggling with that in your church. That's a really good question. And also a fair one. I remember being in church not too long ago where everything just felt a little low where it should be. Things aren't quite as organized as they should be. And yet there are moments in that service that are deeply moving me. And so I would be looking for the way that you can get edified. Jeff Sam said the mark of the church is that they are easily edified. And so I would be looking in the song lyrics that are being sung and looking for truths that I can rehearse and just praise the Lord for. I look around the room, I'm looking for God grace. This person is really ministered to by the song. So praise God for that. I'm trying to look always like in the voice. And yet I recognize that still there may be things that do need to be addressed. Maybe music directors need to be encouraged to prepare. Maybe the musicians need encouragement to spend more time on practicing for church. I recognize in certain churches, especially small churches, you want to allow the gifts of God to be in church to be with them. And sometimes there's a scale for this. Excellence in one church will differ than the next. So you want there to be this continued drive for us to bring the Lord to these events this thing. And yet each of us are limited in our capacities. Each of us limited in our giftedness. So there's this encouragement, keep pursuing it, keep going in, and also awareness that it does have a limit. And so I would encourage people to focus on these things. And maybe I'm conversation with the pastor, some things you see. I love that quote about seeking the church was easily edified, but across the board, some areas, but mindset practical years. In fact, you can just prevalence of constant at your fingertips professional music. We're inundated with the best and it's nice to set up for real expectations when it comes to the normal people, non-professionals in our church. Well, this is probably where the performance culture in our day really deserves to be. Some of my favorite Sundays of the year, as you're going in, kids in our church have these songs. And it's always wonderful, it's always encouraging, and it's heart-raising. And something always won't happen that you can't force. Yeah, and yet it's good for us because it reminds us that this is about performance. This is about family God, family celebration, as one person. And so sometimes things that don't go well are some of the best things that happen to reshape culture in church, right? Meaning, in a sense, we've trained Christians in America that in order to have church, we need to have our community together, we need all those things. And really all we need for worship is the word of God and the word of God and the song of and so kind of a perfect worship music. And you're going to have on Saturdays, the daily baker, some of those Mondays, and we are like Monday baker church. And of course, it's also but I really mean, there are Sundays we teach you just have a prayer, and that's what and the next week we'll have full 60 band. But I like the diversity of it. I like the very because it trains us not to rely on what's happening on the platform for us to participate and sing or say that we get unattached us from some songs we're singing, either they seem really shallow, or maybe actually they seem really wrong. They're often misrepresenting our faith. That's what we do. Just don't do it. That's well, it's not that the guys of church songs was just shallow. I certainly say different. You're mindful of all the songs we use like that. We're singing songs, hymns, and church songs. That's what it's all really take ourselves break in those three exactly. But we're going to be singing the songs. I think we're going to sing hymns. We find ways to follow practice hymns of the Christian hearts. This is church songs. We're not to say it's the hardest one to do, but these songs. So if the songs of the whole church, just one or the other, making up for that, the children of but all of them are feeling cleansing. Both sisters, you have a song I love the Lord and the Bible to worship you, my soul, to enjoy my kingdom. Let it be sweet, sweet sound. I love all Jesus. There's a time now where we're talking where all of the business sings together. Not the Lord sings their songs. But if the songs of the church are not being faithful or going against the what we do church, I'm not considering pastor, with me as well. After the love of the they form, what we sing and how we sing. And maybe even that. I don't make church come after the love of Jesus. But there's the reason and correct and right time where it could be we're praying about this church, also frustrated by the lack of doctrine, truth, and song. Whether it's for PC reasons, or maybe it's some quality issues. Their desire is to love their church, to love their music director and pastor, and they just feel like I want to talk to them about this. I want to share in a humble way when I'm feeling about this. Someone's being on the receiving end of that. At some point, what are some couple ways that you go about doing that? And serve pastor, serve music. You're coming in, we'll have set direction for the conversation. And so we mentioned we're humble. I think that's why things conversations. Going in recognizing we don't see everything from our perspective. Maybe there are things that are well chosen, maybe there's good ideology or good commissions, something that drives this decision or that, but we can't see it first glance. So going into that conversation, actually want to hear what your pastor has to say rather than them listening to what you have to say. It will be very important conversation. Sure, listeners who are thinking, I love the Lord of my church. I love it easy to be happy with this. Have a good time to do that feel sort of complaints still say from people. And see a little bit of the mindset that pastors and church leaders have when they need to run the scene in this kind of. Well, let's say first, there's certain people who do not like music. They come one time, they Because of music, I recognize this as an important expression in the spiritual life. In fact, I've allowed us to write this book, what if I like church music. Maybe multiple people from our church emailed my artist. We will not authorize it. We want to waste it. I think as pastors, one of you say we are responsible for everything that happens with the meaning whatever your decision or not, you're responsible for music for some famous church. Even if you're relying heavily on music record that you know trust, it would be wonderful to have that great stuff that they didn't see the music archer. He's a remarkable job. This is in second, I think even as fresh and actual ministry, he needs to help set a vision for what congregational singing means and looks like within each church. So he's thought through it, not something that he's just unadvisedly or haphazardly walked away. Something that through training, through time scripture, and even being his own training in the church is the same. But then carefully think through what singing will like in our church. Pastor is finding on it's by the way, validity or invalidity, and kind of the other side is going like a pastor's song. When it brings the pastor a particular music, I would encourage that pastor to make the most of those songs that he's teaching us. Nothing offensive. Instead to react appropriately and make most of teaching and training, showing why is what we do and how we do it. Both the church and we want to know and leave that conversation with deeper understanding, so that the next Sunday we gather at church again, singing means more than the first. My biggest question is just think about songs you might sing at church these days. A song that is stuck to you and such a meaning. You've heard other people in your church singing alongside you. But in your mind that there's some brings right now. Well, we sing doxology most of this, and that never loses its luster. I love the way that song is so resonant in the church this week. Can I see that a little bit there? You're a historian, so you know a lot about history and these kinds of things. What's the backstory of doxology? Well, the doxology itself is just a floating 4-line stanza that is attached to the 100 from Calvin's Song. So that's not easy. It's from Calvin's Song and Old 100. So it's an interesting area of text and tune that we love so much. That's what Calvin's originally. But it is last on and greatly sung. Where did the lyrics come from? There's the doxology. There's the is that right or which? One stand, one the other. Probably the thing that has been so rich in me for church for the last few years is the anti proximity from Prince Allen's Life. And I think in his song, which he says, he has hope, is alive, and hope. So maybe just sing that in such a rich time for church. Very much see it on this. I'm grateful. Well, Matthew's verse is all that I feel invigorated, excited to be singing with my church this Sunday. All the realities of nothing nice. That is a privilege to have that. They probably step through that. God is great for all of us this Sunday. And welcome to God's give life and privilege to sing others with people. That's my singing pattern. From where I can go to prophet, one of my music, which started in my March 2006. We're happy to look for example, or you look for example, direct prophet, by the cross hours, that's us. Let's see, chapter conversation has info America, later singing, listen to the first episode for 8 minutes. From all of that, this is started by podcast, like, for your Catholic, who plays sharing friend, meaning prophet is not competition, but it's solely purpose, proclaiming the true God's word, promoting God's word. This is today, prophet power. Trained Christians, more at church, be at our anyways, we know these things. We are like yoga church. There are some days we intentionally have just gather music and take part, and that's in the next week a full 60 But I like diversity because it trains us not to rely on what's happening on the platform for us to participate, or say differently, it unattaches us from performance.
No.
Dreaming of a better future? At Vermont State University, it's within reach. With freedom and unity, eligible Vermonters can earn a degree tuition-free. Choose from over 100 flexible programs in healthcare, education, tech, and more. Whether you're starting fresh or returning to school, VTSU is here to help you move forward. Learn more and apply today at vermontstate.edu.
This is a Bose moment. Work holiday parties can be a drag. Until someone hits play on a Bose speaker. And rich sound fills the room as Bose decks the halls with bass. Holidays deserve music. Music deserves Bose.
Okay.
Shop holiday deals at Bose.com/Spotify.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness, so you can smell unstoppable.
quite a strange game. Uninstall. Remove everything. Retry.
That if beasts keep devouring humans, they might one day inherit that same human potential. With that, King commands her troops to limit human casualties and suppress the chaos. After all, they still need humans alive to reproduce and feed on.
The monthly snack box is packed full of confectionery from around the country.
Fluffy Usagi Bunny Rabbit Marshmallow. Oh. The fluffiest marshmallow ever made. Cheese arare, camembert stuffed biscuits. Of course it was going to be this.
Oh, wow.
Sakurako is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local Japanese snack makers around the country. And what better way to wash it all down than with Kyoto's very own Hojicha tea, infused with the essence of roasted rice. Now we're talking. And check this out, we've even got a beautifully hand-painted dish that'll fit right in my new Japanese home. Wonderful.
At Pearl City's southern side, the Beast King and Blazing Sun Martial School are about to clash when Lin Keddy halts their fists, calling it foolish to fight during such chaos. Grandmaster Lakeson brands Baldy a traitor to the city, while Baldy, seeing the city guard arrive, declares there's no turning back. Royo lunges at Katie, but suddenly an unseen force rips Baldy's head clean off, shocking everyone. The fierce guy stands frozen, jaw dropped, wondering since when this man had the power to rip a human head off so easily. The city guard, assigned only recently to protect the city lord, orders all to lay down their weapons or face consequences. Meanwhile, Lin Keddy asks the Grandmaster for a full explanation of today's events. At Safe House No. 8, everyone regroups. Zhang urges Cece to stay strong, but Manny admits her powers are fading. Luhan complains of drained stamina, Wei feels exhausted, and Blondie says his body feels heavier. Cece turns pale, fearing something happened to the captain, and tries reaching him, but there's no response. Zhang presses for answers, and Manny explains the captain had bestowed each of them with blessings, rare nation-level abilities that grant lasting attributes. If the caster dies, the blessing doesn't stay. With Luhan's reduced stamina drain, Suijie's fatigue cut, Shuzhong's halved body weight, and Cece's reduced mental energy all gone, Manny fears the worst. But Zhang refuses to believe someone of such honor and strength could fall so easily. Suddenly, a golden bracelet appears in Zhang's hand, and a familiar voice greets them. It's Captain. Everyone is overjoyed, but his words hit hard that he only has about a year left before the Celestial Fox King drain him completely. Through a golden hologram, they see him speaking via the bracelet. Situ explains this is his contingency. After his physical death, part of his consciousness formed a virtual persona stored here. Cece desperately wants to save him, but Zhang realizes this isn't the real captain, just an echo of his mind. Still, the old man smiles, admitting he foresaw his death back in Pearl City and prepared for it. Currently, he reveals the Fox King is currently trapped in an endless loop with him at Memorial Square, forced to kill him again and again until his energy runs dry. That gives them 1 year to end the Celestial Foxes, and it all rests on Zhang Ping and his limitless potential. The Purge Squad is stunned when Captain Situ names Zhang Ping as the key to ending the Celestial Fox's reign. Luhan doubts putting all their hopes on a kid, and Manny argues he's just a low-rank awakener despite his potential. But Cece trusts the captain's judgment and asks what comes next. Situ reassures them. This challenge is nothing compared to the despair they faced against the Beast Taman Ju family, whose vault held treasures rivaling the Sun and Moon Pearl, while they had nothing. The old man explains that the gap isn't as wide as it seems. What they need is a weapon strong enough to slay a king-level mutated beast. Luhan is stunned such a thing exists. Situ reveals it's hidden in a place only unlimited level awakeners can enter, with just one chance in their lifetime. That's where he once found the arrow that turned the war. Shuzhong is shaken, while Zhang, weighed down by pressure, realizes he has no choice. Situ assures him that it will benefit him too, as the ruin holds humanity's greatest secrets, meant for him alone. Manny's eager to depart, but Situ insists there's preparation to be done first, asking the self-summoner to follow him. In Safe House No. 8's underground prison, Zhang asks if there's truly no way to free him. Situ replies it's his choice after much thought, otherwise they'd face two outcomes, neither acceptable. First, if they failed to repel the Holy Ancestor Village, Pearl City would fall to Aoxu, and half the awakeners would die in the chaos. Second, even if they won, his death would draw out the Fox King, who'd wipe out any powerful awakeners in the city, costing them 30% of their forces. By trapping the Fox King himself, the strongest threat left is only Princess Yue. In a one-on-one, no awakener could match Princess Yue, but against many at once, even she might falter. That means it'd take her at least a year to wipe them all out, which is the best outcome they can hope for. At the prison gates, Situ orders the self-summoner to take Zhao Yanlong's blood. When Zhang questions it, the old man reminds him he's stuck at level 9. He nearly broke through in the last battle but was inexplicably blocked, like a lump in his throat holding him back. To fix this, Situ tells him to first awaken a new ability by drinking Zhao Yanlong's blood, then he'll guide him on breaking through to the next level. As Zhang draws the blood, Situ explains the issue isn't a bottleneck between low and mid levels, it's that self-summoner has too many abilities. Single ability users have no choice but to advance, but he must pick a path, or risk level stagnation. Once he decides what he truly desires, breaking through will come naturally. Activating his omnivore skill, Zhang awakens a new power, Old King's Blood, which draws strength from suffering. The greater the pain, the stronger the effect. Situ then tells him to use it, feel the shifts in his other abilities, and hold them at the edge of activation. Finally, he urges this dummy to look within and choose the path he truly wants. Among his many powers, Contract Gem, Nethermist Nightwalker, Wind Whisperer, Omnivore, Nethermist Body, Fire Devourer, Pure Water Body, and Pure Blood Body, this gem junkie struggles to choose. He wants them all, but his biggest dilemma is between Contract Gem, the foundation of his abilities, and Omnivore, which birthed 4 top-tier skills like Nethermist Body, Pure Water Body, Pure Blood Body, and Old King's Blood. Though Omnivore is powerful, it still came from Contract Gem. After deep thought, Zhang finally makes his choice. Situ senses it instantly that the self-summoner has broken through, advancing to a mid-level awakener, level 10. Zhang Ping doubts if he truly leveled up, but with analysis, he confirms reaching level 7 with intermediate advancement. Along with this, he discovers the 3 forms of the Contract Gem. The first, Martial Pact, lets him temporarily infuse attack-type abilities into the gem, which, when destroyed, unleashes an even stronger version of that ability once. The second, Treasure Pact, allows the gem to fuse with special equipment, greatly enhancing its potential, though each item can only be fused once. Lastly, the Storage Pact enables the gem to shrink a contracted beast down to the size of a grain of rice, with a maximum storage capacity of 10 cubic meters. Even after gaining just 1 level, Zhang is stunned by the massive gap between a low-level and mid-level awakener. His stamina and mental energy have skyrocketed, giving him precise control over Fire Devourer's flames and a sharper command of all his abilities. Excited, he tells Captain Situ about his breakthrough, finally understanding how CC became so combat-ready after reaching intermediate level. No doubt, the control is simply on another level. With Martial Pact, even useless transparent gems prove handy, as he crafts a sharp blade whose hardness rivals the Pearl Blade, all while being lightweight and durable. Situ isn't surprised that Zhang chose Contract Gem as his advancement core. He always expected this oddball to pick it over Omnivore, and though Zhang had considered Omnivore, something told him it wasn't the right path. After careful observation, Captain realizes that Omnivore gives out abilities fast, but comes with serious risks, with plenty of cases ending in backlash or even death. The self-summoner points out that while Contract Gem is slower, every ability it gives is like a lifeline. Then Wind Whisperer kicks in, and Zhang overhears Yue's plan to recruit awakeners under the name name of the City Guard, slowly weeding out anyone who could become a threat within a year. Later, Captain meets up with his squad and reveals Yue's scheme to bring in a large number of Awakeners under the guise of City Guard missions to quietly get rid of Pearl City's strongest. When Luhan asks if she is targeting those from the last battle, Situ thinks it is very likely. At this point, Zhang decides it is time to head back to Pearl City, first to warn Grandmaster Laxian and the others, then to figure out how to get them out. Luhan quickly reminds him it is too dangerous, but the Self-Summoner says if they wait any longer, the Awakeners will end up like the old City Guard, swallowed up and replaced. Cece insists it is too risky to go alone and says she is coming with him. Manny, Shuzhong, and Luhan also step up, planning to split up and reach out to the Awakeners they know so things move faster. Captain Situ points out this will expose them, and they still cannot tell which Awakeners have already been taken by Celestial Foxes. Even so, Zhang, now a mid-level Awakener, claims he can sneak in alone and make it out, but Luhan refuses, saying Pearl City is a death trap for someone like him. Our guy refuses to sit back and watch their comrades get devoured by the Celestial Foxes, and deep down he still burns with the need to avenge Su Jingyao. The Self-Summoner eases Cece's worries by saying he has a backup plan in case he runs into Princess Yue. Then, the overprotective bro steps up, saying Zhang has to beat him first if he wants a pass to roam the city. Zhang does not even hesitate, pulling Luhan in with Nether Mist body and winning on the spot. Thus, Four-Eyed Bro admits this kid really has gotten stronger after his advancement. Captain explains that an unlimited level Awakener does not grow like an ordinary one, pointing out how he himself only started handling mutated beasts after reaching intermediate level. But the old man admits Zhang was already strong enough to take down mid-level Awakeners while still low level, proving he is far more talented than him, and that his potential is even greater. Captain has no intention of stopping the boy from going, but still hands him a treasure. Right then, the Self-Summoner chimes in, asking a favor from Shuzhong. With analysis, he notices Shuzhong's ability, Adipose Tech, which lets him turn his own body fat into material energy, and synthesize it into manufactured goods he understands, then recall it back into his body anytime. Suddenly, the dude pulls him aside for some privacy, and straight up snatches part of his adipose tissue, while Shuzhong protests, begging him to leave some behind. The rest of the squad just stare, totally weirded out. Manny blurts out how Shuzhong is even supposed to help now, and she nearly loses it when the big guy actually slims down into a lean boy after Zhang is done with him. In the Purge Squad's secret room, Captain Situ brings out the Dread Reaper, a scythe that grows stronger by drinking blood. He admits he once used it to wipe out tens of thousands of mutated beasts, letting it soak in a sea of blood over the years. He calls it a divine artifact, unmatched in sharpness and durability, and says it's the perfect weapon for Jiang Ping to take it to Pearl City to boost his survival chances. Zhang gratefully accepts, while Situ notices Cece looking a bit too worried. With his strength running low, the old man retreats into the bracelet to rest, leaving the two alone. When Zhang tries asking about her scar, Cece brushes it off, saying they can talk as friends, not just teammates. Well, Cece opens up, saying she's faced her inner demons and had the Purge Squad heal the scar on her face. That last ordeal made her realize her own weakness, so she's no longer chasing revenge alone and wants to lean on everyone's strength to take down Li Oxio together. Under the moonlight, she asks Zhang if he's really set on going back to Pearl City by himself, and if avenging his friend is driving him. He pauses, then admits it has crossed his mind, now that he's a mid-level Awakener and feels his power growing. He reassures her that he's no longer the powerless kid who pretended to sleep when Princess Yue appeared and promises that saving people comes first, which is why he's returning to Pearl City this time. Regarding Su Jingyao's revenge, Zhang promises he won't act recklessly if the opportunity doesn't arise. Cece still worries about him going solo, but he reassures her that he has Shuzhong's secret weapon and will be fine. Inside Pearl City, the Self-Summoner, disguised, notices that Celestial Fox patrols are more vigilant, and that Pearl Square is temporarily closed to unauthorized personnel. Situ whispers to the kid not to worry about the old fox, as it won't be a threat for a year or two, and asks if he's worked out a strategy. Zhang admits he has one. At the Beast King Martial Arts School in the study room, the Self-Summoner cautiously approaches Grandmaster Laxian, using pure water body. After recognizing him, the fierce guy asks where he's been the past few days, saying he wanted to thank him in person, but couldn't find him anywhere. After updating Grandmaster Laxian, Zhang asks if he's willing to help. The fierce guy realizes the City Lord has long betrayed Pearl City, and the Celestial Foxes are truly in charge, which he finds hard to believe. Lin Ketty arrives, and Grandmaster asks him to wait in the reception hall, confident that Master will see the truth about the City Guard replacements at a glance. In the hall, Lin congratulates Grandmaster and announces that the City Lord has appointed Feng Laxian as the new Vice City Lord of Pearl City, a move that will soon be citywide news. Master remains calm, thanking the City Lord for the honor. Lin Ketty departs, leaving the fierce guy stunned at how the Celestial Foxes managed this. Using Pure Blood Body's shared vision, the truth becomes clear to Grandmaster. He assures Zhang he won't fight where he's outmatched, but assumes the kid has a plan. This guy mentions he hopes to leverage his Vice City Lord's position to host a banquet and invite the Awakeners who defended Pearl City. They decide to spread the word to those who haven't been replaced by the Celestial Foxes and bring them up to speed on what's really happening. Anyone who wants out will be sent through the teleportation array, while those who stay will keep their guard up and at least avoid falling under the Fox's control. Zhang knows some people will stay because of family ties, but that's the best they can do for now. From his view, it's shocking to see his small school crawling with these creatures. The training grounds already packed with mutated beasts, and even some students replaced. Grandmaster admits there's only so much they can do, since when the enemy hides in plain sight, no one can save everyone, but he still promises to stand with Zhang. He thanks him for giving them hope of fighting back. Right then, the Self-Summoner catches the sight of Su Jingyao's mutated beasts outside, the same ones that killed Jingyao, and his rage flares as Nether Mist erupts, ready for battle. Over at the mansion, Luo Xu asks Lin Ketty and the others if anything unusual is happening in Pearl City. Lin says things are quiet, except Grandmaster Feng Laxian is throwing a banquet soon. Xu rolls her eyes, calling the big guy nothing special and saying he just wants to show off. Su Jingyao suggests sending someone to check it out, but Princess Yue shuts it down, thinking Laxian only cares about collecting gifts and line his pockets. She sees no real threat from him, and instead orders them to track down the Purge Squad and figure out what Zhang Ping is planning. At the banquet, everyone lines up to congratulate Grandmaster on becoming mayor, hoping for his favor in the future. Master calls them all too kind, until his chump whispers something in his ear. He quickly excuses himself, apologizing for not being a better host. Lin Ketty and Su Jingyao are present, with Lin convinced Princess Yue was right about this guy. Jingyao, however, is distracted by a woman's stunning looks, but Lin warns her to stay calm since too many eyes are watching, and to wait until the banquet ends before making a move. She agrees without fuss. Meanwhile, Grandmaster secretly summons his squad. When asked why, he reveals he has gained crucial intel and wants Zhang to explain. Then the Self-Summoner suddenly pops out of Grandmaster's body and greets Master Bai, leaving everyone completely stunned. Moments later, the room goes silent as everyone learns about the rise of the Celestial Foxes, meaning Pearl City has already fallen. Master Bai takes a moment to process it, recalling the strange behavior of Lin Ketty and other city guards, while the exquisite woman points out that the City Lord hasn't been seen in ages. Grandmaster backs up the kid, saying he has confirmed the Foxes himself, warning they are masters of disguise and some are likely already at the banquet in human skin. He asks his men to trust him as they always have and stand with him. Master Bai and the exquisite woman agree, admitting they believe him. Zhang then speaks up, saying they need to play it smart, lie low for now, and save their strength before making a move. The dude passes around a list of folks who haven't been swapped out by the Foxes yet and suggests they split up to give them a heads up about what's happening. He also shares that the Purge Squad will soon open a portal with a teleportation array. If anyone wants to leave, they can slip out through the main gate, loop back quietly, and jump through the portal. When someone brings up their families, Grandmaster explains that only Zhang can spot the Fox disguises, and they haven't had time to check if families are safe or already replaced. He warns that if the Foxes catch on, they might move faster to wipe out the Awakeners. So if anyone stays, they'll need to be super cautious, or just take their loved ones and get outside Pearl City's guard territory. Bai sighs that keeping all this under wraps with so many people in the loop won't be easy. On the other hand, the Self-Summoner says he'll keep watch from the shadows, and if anything suspicious goes down at the banquet, he'll fire off a signal to warn the others. With that, Master gets ready to head out, saying he'll grab a drink with Bai Day sometime soon, while Brother Li insists he'll throw a banquet in his honor next. As things wrap up, Zhang sticks to the shadows, relieved that everyone has been warned during the banquet, and the Celestial Foxes haven't caught on. Out of nowhere, Jingyao's soul warns him to stay sharp, though he's not sure what she means. Then he spots the fake Jingyao on the street targeting Chen Weihua. He knows he has to pull the monster's attention away before the whole plan blows up. The imposter casually approaches Miss Weihua, asking if she's heading back and suggesting they walk together. He can't believe the scumbag would show himself so openly, which gives him the perfect chance to strike. Slipping on his stealth suit from the golden bracelet, he dives in with a smirk, greeting Su Jingyao like it's been ages. Zhang quickly tells Weihua to find Grandmaster Laxian right away, warn him he's in danger, and meet him on the west side of the city. The fake Su Jingyao freezes, clearly not expecting to see him here. She was only planning to grab a snack, but now she's convinced she's caught the big prize instead. Certain Princess Yue will be thrilled once she delivers him. After sending Wei Hua off, the self-summoner darts forward, baiting Jing Yao to chase him. She calls out, asking where he's running, but he boosts his speed with Nethermist Nightwalker, leaving her struggling to keep up. She has no idea how he's moving so fast, and before long she loses sight of him, only for Jang to reappear and strike from the shadows. His scythe flashes in a sudden sneak attack. Jang can't believe this fakie is still trying to play pretend. With Nethermist Nethermist body wrapping around him. He swears he won't let her die too easily. Fakey finally realizes Princess Yue was right. Zhang really can see through their disguises, though she thought his ability was something else. Now he looks almost possessed by the Nethermist as the Reaper launches a flurry of scythe strikes. One slash tears into her gut, making the fox shriek in pain. And before she can recover, Zhang locks her down with Nethermist shackles. He tells the imposter that even if he didn't know the real Jingyao for long, she was the reason he accepted himself, the one who gave him peace and kept him from living in fear. The fake doesn't understand a word of it, but Zhang isn't here to talk. He pins her down, determined to avenge his friend, while she can't figure out when this kid got so strong. The Grim tells her that Jingyao was his childhood friend, the most important person in his life, and all she wanted was to make her dreams come true. With that, Zhang drives his scythe into the imposter's chest, making the fox scream as blood gushes out. When it mocks him, saying he'll never know the look of despair on the real Jingyao's face when she died, Zhang's rage only deepens. He unleashes a storm of blows, each one brutal enough to make her suffer, but calculated to keep her alive just long enough to taste even more pain. The fox finally breaks and begs Zhang to finish him off, still trying to milk sympathy by wearing Jingyao's face, but the grim tears that mask away without mercy. With Nethermist at full charge, he declares the only one he wants dead is this filthy fox and delivers the killing blow, finally avenging Su Jingyao. Just then, a familiar voice cuts in. Impressed he managed to take down Liu alone. It's Lu Xiu, better known as Princess Yue, who notes Zhang has gotten stronger but didn't expect him to show up ready to throw his life away. Even staying cool, Zhang asks why she's so sure he has no tricks left, though his analysis keeps failing again and again. Yu just smirks, asking if he's still struggling on death's door, because she's more than fine letting him die once he realizes what he's really up against. When analysis finally works, the truth hits. It's Princess Yue, with 8-star growth potential and level 39, an apex beast wielding cognitive distortion, and the terrifying illusionary foxtail majestic. Yue launches the first strike, but Zhang manages to block it with Nethermist body. She keeps pressing, breaking through his Nethermist shield until he's forced to parry with the Dread Reaper scythe. He's shaken to see her slice through his Nethermist like it's paper, and a quick analysis shows her real weapon is that tail of hers. Still, the lad stays confident, counting on his pure water body to nullify physical hits. But Yue quickly catches on that he's got more than one trick, and she's not buying that it'll save him now. Another strike lands, and Zhang's already feeling the pressure, while she coolly reminds him that these little abilities won't be enough to close the massive gap between them. In the next moment, the self-summoner catches on that she is super supercooling her tail to freeze his pure water body solid, leaving his defense cracked. She's curious though, wondering how he can see through the king's illusion when even Situ Shabai couldn't. The lad knows he can't juggle two abilities at once, but he figures a martial pact might do the trick. She steps on the red gem, triggering the Fire Devourer martial pact. The gem works by storing attack abilities, then shattering to unleash an amped up version all at once. Watching this, the Fox Princess calls it a cute little trick, admitting it was enough to let him slip free. Later, Yue asks why he's not trying to run anymore, and he admits that escaping alone is impossible, which is why he called for backup. Right then, Grandmaster Feng Lexian rushes in with Master Bai, yelling that Wei Hua told them he was in trouble. Bai adds that everyone's already evacuated, leaving Zhang as the only one still here. Surprised, Yue figures the explosion must have drawn them out and guesses he's working with Zhang Ping. Realizing she can't use Grandmaster Lexian anymore, she decides it's time to finish him off. She lunges forward, but the self-summoner shoves Feng out of the way just in time, taking the hit across his own back. He tells them not to worry about him and reveals that this girl is actually a fox. The Grandmaster orders Bai to protect his student. Master Bai is stunned to see a celestial fox for the first time, though right now she looks like an ordinary girl. Suddenly, the old man doesn't expect the brat to dive into his body, which shocks him even more. With pure blood body, Zhang calmly tells his instructor it won't hurt him, just enough to show the fox's real form, leaving Bai completely mind-blown. Bai quickly warns Lexian that the fox's tail is about to rip into his stomach, and the Grandmaster barely dodges in time, shocked by the sheer power behind her strike. Our guy then tells Bai to hold out his left hand, palm up, and asks him to pass the Grandmaster some of his blood. The instructor's relieved they finally got a plan rolling. Then, he tosses it to Lexian, saying that when the wind brings tidings, you receive them with grace. It's his way of telling the fierce guy to swallow it. Lexian instantly gets the hint and gulps it down without a second thought, finally seeing Princess Yue's real form. The Grandmaster dodges her tail again while Bai and Zhang are already set to back him up. Grandmaster is fired up with blazing aura, and Bai is in his raging lion warrior form, ready to make the fox pay for what she did.
I used to be terrified of my tax bill. Now it makes me smile. After I converted my solo business into an S-Corp, I realized how this country is built to reward entrepreneurs. So let's say you make about $175,000 per year, and you're classified as a regular.
He did to the students, but the kiddo quickly tells him it's only his blood that's letting him see her true self, and it won't last long. Though for Grandmaster, it's more than enough time to settle things. The Fox Princess still can't figure out how they're seeing through her illusions, while Grandmaster Lexian and Bai the Tiger are burning with rage. Convinced Zhang Ping is behind it, her fury spikes, and she decides to stop caring about tricks and just wipe them all out. She calls to her shadow, and from it rises Yue's shadow, a powerful fox spirit that's been hidden inside her all along. Lexian quickly warns Bai that the thing crawling out is insanely strong. Zhang knows this is no illusion, but he's baffled at how the fox managed to hide inside her shadow without anyone noticing. On top of that, he can't even use analysis in his pure blood form, leaving him wondering what kind of terrifying power this fox really holds. Still, Zhang takes out the last serpent scale he owns and gives it to Feng, knowing it may be their only chance. Grandmaster Feng, burning bright in his sunfire form, admits it's not going to be easy fighting both foxes at once. The kiddo tells him to just buy a little time so they can all escape Pearl City. Trusting his words, the fierce guy cranks his sunfire up to 4,000 degrees after swallowing the serpent scale, ready to face the celestial foxes head on. Yue quickly sets her sights on Bai, catching him off guard, and the mighty tiger dives in to clash with her one-on-one, only to get slashed by her razor-sharp nails. The self-summoner rushes to reassure him and patches the wound, explaining that this sly fox can strike through his shadow. Meanwhile, the sun god goes straight for the shadow freak, knowing they can't stay on defense forever. With his aura blazing, he shouts to Lao Bai to run tactic 3+1, meaning one gathers the enemy while the other three risk it all, and the tiger immediately agrees. While the mighty tiger trades blows with Yue, he mocks her, asking if she's trying to tickle him or kill him, even teasing that her speed's decent, but her strikes hit like a kitten. That pushes the Fox Princess over the edge, and she drives her claws into his gut, making him cough blood. Even so, Bai grabs her face and hurls the filthy fox into the air, only to catch sight of the shadow freak stabbing Grandmaster's shoulder. In a blink, Yue is back beside her shadow. That's when the fierce guy unleashes the Beast King's secret technique, primordial chaos unification, flooding the field in blue fire. Zhang seizes the moment, tossing them a martial pact gem upgraded with adipose tech, telling them firmly not to let it slip. That's when the kiddo calls out to Shoujiang, telling him to reclaim his fat right now. Instantly, the gem surges with pulling force, answering Shoujiang's call and carrying them through the air. In mid-flight, Bai snaps at the brat for pulling such a stunt without warning, while Grandmaster can't hide his excitement. The instructor feels certain they've made their escape, but Zhang is left on the verge of collapse, drained from healing with his pure blood body. Barely conscious, he assures them the gem will lead straight to the base before finally blacking out and falling from the sky. Outside Pearl City in the Lost Woods, our guy's lying on the ground when a leaf drifts down and lands on his face, gently waking him. He jerks up right the next second, stunned that he's even alive. Just then, the golden bracelet speaks up, relieved that Zhang is finally awake. The captain explains that he was badly injured and has been out cold this whole time. The kid immediately feels the ache tearing through his back. Situ tells him he did all he could, but he's at his limit after Zhang took that slash to the back, and he needs to rest. The brat's taken aback, realizing that if not for him, he'd probably be dead. So he tells him it's fine to sleep easy. There's nothing to apologize for. He drags himself through the forest until he stumbles across a small cave. The self-summoner tries to reach headquarters, calling out if anyone copies, but all he gets is silence. He figures he's on his own for now. His pure blood body can heal others, but not himself, and that stings. After lighting a small fire, he finally gets why they say doctors can't heal themselves. On top of that, his energy's running low, so if some mutated beast shows up, he's pretty much toast. For now, he settles in the cave, patching himself up with what little flame and nether mist he's got left. The lad knows finding his way out in this state won't be easy, so he just hopes his teammates can track him down soon. Just then, Zhang spots Su Jingyao's fallen hair clip, and memories of their revenge battle rush back. He knows he finally avenged her, yet there's no joy in it. After holding the clip to his chest, he admits it was never really for her, just his own obsession. All those noble ideals he preached were just excuses for chasing fame and glory. The truth hits hard that the dead never return, and no miracle can change that. Still, a thought lingers. If his pure blood body could heal Sis Chang, even before Zhang once linked with Grandmaster's body and realized he can replace organs to keep him alive, which sparked a bold idea. Maybe he really can resurrect Su Jingyao. With only her face as a starting point, he knows the pure blood body usually heals specific targets, so he isn't sure if this will even work. Still, he binds his blood to her face, pouring every ounce of strength into it. Exhaustion weighs him down, but he sees it taking effect as her body begins to form. Something feels off though. Maybe it's because of his own injuries, maybe not, but he refuses to stop. Even if it drains him dry, he won't let Jingyao slip away again. Grandmaster Lexian and Instructor Bai soar through the air until Lexian senses something off, urging Bai to brace for impact. They dive down just in time, and Bai mutters that Zhang's about as reliable as a screen door on a submarine. Soon, they meet Ming, Cici, and Shoujiang, who say they've been expecting them to retrieve the fat. Shoujiang, thrilled to have it back, admits he hadn't thought about the landing after getting Zhang's message and apologizes for the scare. Lexian just laughs, saying a hiccup like that won't shake them, though he advises Shoujiang to polish his control for others' sake. Then Cici asks about Zhang, and Bai fills them in on how the kid fell into the woods mid-flight. He calls it the Lost Woods for a reason. Its twisted terrain traps anyone who wanders in, no matter how prepared. They know their navigation skills are terrible, and if they rush in blindly, they'll only get themselves lost. Ming points out that the Purge Squad badges have a tracking function, so they can at least find their way back. Cici immediately volunteers to enter, and Grandmaster Lexian insists on joining, blaming himself for not noticing Zhang's injuries earlier and feeling responsible. The fierce guy tells Bai to focus on healing, assuring him his wounds are already recovering, and that no mutated beasts stand a chance against him anyway. So it's decided. Ming, Cici, and Lexian will search for Zhang, while Shoujiang escorts Bai back to base. Fatty beams at the task, proudly saying they can count on him. Inside the cave, the self-summoner steadies his breath, pushing his blood art to the limit. A window flashes. His mastery of human anatomy and the circulatory system has advanced, upgrading him to pure blood body intermediate with 4-star growth potential. He can't believe the timing, swearing this attempt has to succeed. As Jingyao's body glows brilliantly, he holds his breath, then tears up when she stands before him in flesh. Overcome, he hugs her tightly. Jing Yao says she feels fine, just a bit tired, then teases him for pulling the same reckless stunts as always. Zhang, resting against her lap, claims that without those stunts, they wouldn't be here now. He's grateful he ate that gemstone back then, and Jing Yao praises him for always working so hard, despite the doubts at school, the mockery for becoming a farmer, and even when facing impossible foes. He never stopped moving forward. She smiles, proud to see how much he's grown and the amazing friends he's made, urging him to treasure them. Telling him he's already done more than enough, she gently asks him to rest. Tears fall from her eyes onto his face as she wishes she could keep walking beside him, but her soul energy is fading. Even so, she believes Zhang will find her again someday, and when that happens, she hopes she'll still remember him. With that, she fades into the air, leaving only her final goodbye. Zhang jolts awake, calling out Su Jingyao's name. Relief washes over him when he sees her beside him, but the moment he touches her skin, his heart sinks. She's cold, unmoving, and not breathing. Panic surges as he unleashes pure blood body, shouting that she was just speaking to him moments ago, certain he'd heard her voice. But then her words about soul energy echo in his mind, and the truth hits him that the resurrection failed for some reason. Her body returned, but her soul is still missing. Zhang sinks into despair, admitting that if reviving the dead were so simple, it would break all logic. Even with forced resurrection, he wonders if she will still be the same Jingyao. Still, her words give him hope that if he can find her soul, there's a chance. Suddenly, a mutated beast bug appears at the cave's edge, as light seeps in from the entrance. Instead of attacking, it simply watches. This self-summoner kindly asks if the little guy is hungry and offers food, grateful that it spared him while he was unconscious. After eating, the bug seems to ask about the girl. He answers softly that Jingyao is still resting peacefully within his bracelet. The dude guesses the little bug is newly born, too innocent to grasp death. When it shares food back with him, his heart warms. It's the first friendly mutated beast he's ever met. To him, it feels like the bug is reminding him to cherish the present, since no amount of moping can change the past. Curious, he scans it and discovers it's a mobile fortress ant queen, level 5, with 9-star growth potential. Not to mention the little bug carries a majestic tier ability. Queen's Majesty allows it to reproduce asexually, spawn mutated ants within its nest space, fully command its colony, and intimidate foreign ant species with strength tied to its growing body size. The guy's floored that this tiny thing has the potential of a king-level mutated beast. He just parted ways with a princess, only to stumble upon another, and can't help but wonder if it's fate. Just then, he notices something odd nearby and analyzes it. It turns out to be a Black Mountain bowback ant, level 5, with 8-star growth potential. Its ability, Black Mountain Legion, grants each ant a spined carapace, high defense, and highly corrosive formic acid, while the colony moves as one through shared information. Zhang cheerfully tells the little bug that its friends are here for it, but suddenly, the little bug queen trembles in fear. It takes him a moment to realize something's wrong. He activates pure blood water, noticing the surrounding ants glaring with hostility at the queen, and asks if the wounds on her came from them. Before he can think further, Zhang feels their killing intent lock onto him. With no time to waste, he grabs the little bug queen and bolts, sprinting for his life as the swarm of ants charges after them. Zhang realizes the little queen is still too weak, her authority unsteady, so instead of submitting, the Black Mountain ants take her as a challenge. With the swarm closing in, Zhang bolts, searching for a way to stall them, and comes across a giant bear and tags it in their path as a distraction. But what he sees next chills him to the core. The ants strip the beast to bare bones in seconds. Now the flesh-eating swarm is chasing after him. Our guy pushes onto higher ground, relieved the ants can't fly, but those freaks are relentless, strong enough to knock down trees in their path. Suddenly Zhang hears a rumble, mistaking it for an earthquake, until the real horror appears. A massive tree man emerges, demanding to know where the bugs came from as he stomps them flat for disturbing his slumber. The ants latch onto his foot, but one strike from the giant flings them yards away. MC is stunned to hear the thing speak human language, and it's his first time witnessing a mutated plant. Thanks to his Nightwalker skill, he's just glad the tree man is scaring the ants off, giving him a chance to escape. However, the giant tree calls out, stopping the human from bolting away. MC quickly realizes this tree man must be high level, able to see straight through his Nethermist Nightwalker skill. He tries to analyze, failing twice before finally succeeding, only to discover the truth that the tree is Ye Changchun, a human turned fallen one, an apex awakener at level 35. His ability, Ultra Dendrification, lets his body transform into a plant-like being that continues evolving with age. Tree man admits the ant storm woke him, and that he's thrilled to finally see a living human again. Unlike the other fallen ones Zhang has encountered, psychos or lunatics, this one speaks calmly, almost friendly, and simply wants to chat. When asked, the lad introduces himself as being from Pearl City, which excites Tree man even more, as he too is from Pearl City, though age has blurred much of his memory. This self-summoner cautiously reminds him that he's a fallen one, but the dumb tree seems clueless about the term, shocked instead that this kid knows his name. He explains it came up through his analysis arts, revealing him as Ye Changchun. Suddenly the bracelet glows and Captain stirs awake, asking if it's really Uncle Ye Changchun. He grumbles about being woken up by their chatter, while Senior Ye marvels at seeing a friend actually residing within a bracelet. Intrigued, Tree man urges Sito to share what he knows about his past. The captain begins recounting the past, how they once formed a resistance army to overthrow the Jew family's tyranny, with Ye as one of their strongest and most trusted members. His mastery of disguise made him the perfect spy within the Jew household, until one mission exposed him and led to his untimely death. Tree man listens, impressed by the tale of the resistance, yet unable to remember any of it. Situ quietly urges Zhang to act, while the captain explains that being a fallen means gradually losing one's mind. Just like Senior Ye, who accepted this tree form as his reality, his human memories are fading, erasing his former identity piece by piece. Fallen ones aren't ordinary humans. Their mental energy far surpasses the norm, making them immune to mind control, yet no fallen has ever been cured. Zhang, however, might be different. The kid asks if the captain means to feed Senior Ye the contract gem, which instantly piques Tree man's interest. Zhang explains the gem can work since fallen one's immense mental energy needs external guidance to restore their selves, but it also requires Senior Ye to surrender control of his body. Tree man shrugs it off as nothing serious and gulps down the gem without hesitation. Moments later, the result is clear. The contract succeeds, and Ye Changchun becomes Zhang's contracted beast. The self-summoner is floored that Senior Ye swallowed the gem so casually, and even more so when the contract actually works. To test it, he gives a command for Ye Changchun to stop being a fallen one. As the tree man begins to change, the lad wonders if it's really working, and to his shock, it does. The giant tree shrinks into human form, memories flooding back all at once. Contract gem beast summoned and bonus effect activated. Zhang never knew contracts could trigger bonus effects too, like awakening new abilities, and that revelation stuns him even further. That's when it hits him. Level 7 contract gems can't be used for awakening new abilities anymore. Still, this dummy convinces himself it was worth it, especially seeing how happy the old man is, and decides to hold out until he gets a level 8 gem. Amidst the chaos, Senior Ye realizes he never asked Zhang's name, so the lad introduces himself. The old man chuckles at how someone with such a plain name lifted his curse, admitting he has little to repay him with, except for a strange purple fire he once claimed, something caught between the living and the dead. Zhang recognizes it instantly as Nethermist essence. With Annalise, the truth pops up quickly. Its concentrated power stored in the gallbladder of a Nethermist black bear, and consuming it could lead to unpredictable outcomes. Still, Zhang is just relieved it isn't sheep testicles this time, assuring Senior Ye that this essence should be incredibly useful. At least, he hopes so. He reminds the tree man that helping him was out of his own free will. Then he recalls Cece's warning that Nethermist creatures are like parasites, so as long as it doesn't seize control of his mind, he'll be fine. With his past experience, Zhang is confident he can handle it this time. After all, the basic Nethermist couldn't even scratch Princess Yue, but if he wants to defeat her, he needs to grow stronger. So, without hesitation, he downs the essence and feels the surge immediately. He keeps pushing himself that he can do this, and he does. The Nethermist essence is absorbed successfully, advancing from basic to intermediate, and gaining the ability to absorb rage. His reserves rise to 199 out of 300. His potential jumps to 5 stars. His level climbs to 13, and his contract gem skyrockets to level 9. The gem junkie never expected the Nethermist essence to boost him 3 levels at once, let alone advance his contract gem further. Senior Ye laughs, saying Pearl City must truly be a hotbed for talent if a kid like this can eat that purple essence and survive. This self-summoner, however, suspects he's the only one alive who could pull it off. Then Tree Man suddenly calls out Old Su, saying he's been watching long enough. To Zhang's horror, it's the very rock he's been standing on, and it scares the life out of him. He warns you not to be so trusting, but the old man only asks Su if he intends to remain a fallen forever. Old Su argues their current life is easy and free, but Tree Man reminds him he's forgotten important things, like his family. That's when Rockman rises, towering like a giant. With Annalise, the young lad identifies him as Su Qingbo, a fallen apex awakener at level 35, wielding ultra mimicry. Su Qingbo's power lets him merge with any inorganic matter in the natural world, gaining its properties, but he can't fuse with anything smaller than his own size. Tree Man scolds that Su no longer even looks human, while Zhang feels the name strangely familiar. Captain Situ confirms that Su Qingbo was one of the founders of the investigation team, a Pearl City legend who vanished years ago. The dude wonders if it's mere coincidence that 2 seniors ended up as fallen in this wasteland. Senior Ye recalls being injured by the Jew family and cast outside the city, where he tried to heal by becoming a tree, thus becoming Tree Man. He remembers Sue as a young lad back then, so he doubts any direct connection. Yet he was delighted to hear the boy made a family of his own, and couldn't stop talking about his adorable granddaughter on their first meeting. That moment jogs the young lad's memory, prompting him to show Su Jingyao's body to Su Qingbo, and ask if he recognizes her, a question that visibly unsettles Rockman. Suddenly, Rockman is hit by a flashback of a woman cradling a baby girl, Yao Yao. She tells her dad the baby just woke up, calling out that Grandpa Su is here to see her. Rockman goes into a frenzy, struggling to recall who these people are and, more importantly, who he is. Senior Ye watches in horror as this girl is truly Su's granddaughter, but Rockman can't place her. He only remembers fragments about the beast-taming Jew family, Pearl City, the investigation team, and a traitor. Seeing him unravel, Zhang realizes Su is in danger of losing himself completely. The old man urges him to act quickly. Without hesitation, the young lad prepares to sacrifice his contract gem, knowing he'll lose the ability to awaken new abilities. But saving Su takes absolute priority. Zhang throws the gem, hoping to break the curse, but Rockman shoves him aside, yelling that they're liars trying to trick him and calling for Ma Bin to leave the city. Senior Ye yells at the giant to snap out of it, pointing out that the girl is his granddaughter. Seeing Jing Yao's body finally calms him, and for his family's sake, he swallows the gem. The contract succeeds. Zhang commands Su to stop being a fallen, and Rockman shatters, freeing his human form. He's devastated to see Yao Yao, aka Jing Yao, in such a state. As her grandpa, Su Qingbo, is overwhelmed with guilt, regretting not being there for Jing Yao and fearing Ma Bin may have harmed her. Tears stream down his face. Situ explains that Ma Bin became the leader of the investigation team after Su went missing. The captain asks if they'd had a falling out, and he drops the bomb that Ma Bin is actually part of the Jew family who escaped justice. Learning this enrages old Su that he failed to protect Pearl City and the people he cherished. Zhang finally pieces together why the investigation team remained silent during the city's chaos. The Jew family orchestrated it all, though they failed to capture Chen Junting last time, leaving him to wonder what schemes remain. Meanwhile, Tree Man is lost on the details. The self-summoner delivers the grim news to the seniors that Pearl City is now on the brink of disaster. He confesses he was badly injured during a rescue mission and had to hide in the forest to recover. If it weren't for Senior Ye, Zhang and the little bug would have been devoured by the swarm of flesh-eating ants. Su Qingbo grows curious about the kid, constantly hearing Jing Yao's voice and even seeing her illusions. He confronts the kiddo, suspecting she somehow guided him, but Zhang insists he's actually seen her. Rockman is stunned that perhaps they weren't illusions after all. That's when he learns that Yao Yao, aka Jing Yao, awakened her powers early and is extraordinarily gifted, with abilities akin to astral projection. Most astonishingly, she could enter people's dreams, leading old Su to suspect that Jing Yao managed to separate her soul from her body at the time of her death. So the thing Zhang saw was actually Jing Yao's power, meaning she could still be alive. With her body destroyed, old Su believes her soul has been wandering without a medium for so long that she has become a fallen. It suddenly makes sense to our guy why she didn't want to burden him back then about her transformation into a fallen. It pains him to see she's been helping him from the shadows while secretly wishing he'd forget her, but forgetting her is impossible, and he vows to find her once the dust settles. Now, eager to act, he listens as the seniors share their plans. Having dedicated their lives to protecting Pearl City, they will not stand idle if the city faces danger. Grandpa Su longs to see his granddaughter, and the seniors commit to being Zhang's strength, ready to fight alongside him and follow his commands to save Pearl City. Meanwhile, Liu Xishan, Ming, and Grandmaster Lexian rush to find Zhang Ping after the navigation team reports his signal disappearing nearby. They arrive to find blood and chaos scattered across the area. Ming quickly identifies the culprit that it's the Black Mountain Bowback ant on the march, and suspects the kid ran into serious trouble. Ice Lady hurries forward, but a portal suddenly opens to strike her, though the trick fails against her, and she blocks the attack, demanding to know who's there. Three figures emerge from the smoke, greeting Grandmaster Lexian to the old zombie freak, accompanied by his lackeys. The familiar stench confirms Lexian's suspicion. The old freak intends to leave no one alive, unleashing his minions to carry out his plan. Ming wonders if the Holy Ancestor village left a spy behind, but Cece shrugs it off. Her order is simple, that to kill them all. Lexian tells them to retreat as he is the main target. Feng's body erupts in flames as he activates the blazing aura form, with his temperature soaring to 1,000 degrees. With strength, stamina, and agility boosted up, he reminds it of his old promise that this time, the old freak will die. After Grandmother throws it away, the zombie slips into a purple void and vanishes. Lexian thinks it's escaped through teleportation, but suddenly it reappears, striking from behind. Cece spots Grandmaster in danger as multiple portals erupt, each delivering iron-hard punches at the fierce guy simultaneously. It doesn't feel like the same person's ability, and she suspects the women beside the zombie freak are orchestrating the attack. The fierce guy leaps at the two women, calling them rookies, but the older one opens a purple portal to shield them, cursing the zombie leader for letting him strike. The freak explains he had a zombie monitoring Grandmaster Feng Lexian after their last battle, knowing his body temperature drops without sunlight. With Lexian's heat falling to 600 degrees, the freak is sure he can't enter white form again. The zombie leader timed the attack for nightfall, waiting for Lexian to leave the city so he could force his surrender. Suddenly, Zhang spots the blazing tornado, initially thinking it's Lexian's doing. Cece is nearly done with her part of the fight, and Chen Ming as well, when danger suddenly spikes. She quickly warns Mr. Coolgreen about the zombie toxin in the air and tells Chen to hold his breath. At the same time, the freaking old zombie unleashes a barrage of fists through multiple portals, demanding Feng surrender and become one of his puppets. Feng refuses, striking back with determination not to be tricked again. The zombie freak admits that while Lexian may resist, his friends might not be so fortunate. Grandmaster shouts a warning to Cece, but before she can react, the enemy appears behind her. A flash later, the strike lands, and the zombie vanishes instantly. Chen rushes over, but Cece steadies him, assuring him she's fine and warning him to stay alert. Chen readies his blade, launching a sword technique in an X stance, only for the zombie to snap it apart, mocking Mr. Coolgreen as all bark and no bite. The fierce guy wants to help, but the old zombie mocks Grandmaster for still worrying about others. Feng resists the zombie's attempt to overwhelm him, determined not to let anyone be harmed, even as the zombie freak prepares to end it all, until his plans are suddenly interrupted by Tree Man. Senior Ye stomps toward the old zombie, but the freak dodges just in time while Grandmaster checks on Cece and Mr. Cool. Suddenly a familiar voice calls out, relieved to see them safe. It's Zhang Ping, perched on Tree Man's shoulder. Cece breathes easier at the sight of him. The freak acknowledges the backup, but Su lunges to strike, only for his hand to pass right through. Warnings ring in Su's mind that the freak is immortal, but he quickly gasifies himself to dodge the zombie's attack. Lexian reminds everyone they can't afford to drop their guard against a fallen one. Just then, Sunrise fires up the Grandmaster, ready to show what he has up his sleeves next. His temperature spikes to 800 as the formidable dream team prepares to take down the scumbags. The lady knows these reinforcements aren't to be underestimated. They failed to capture Feng Lexian and call for an immediate retreat. The old zombie protests, but she drags him into a portal, telling the hero squad they got lucky. The fierce guy shouts for them not to run, but Zhang warns Grandmaster not to act rashly, as they still lack intel on the enemy. Rushing in could lead straight into a trap, so he advises regrouping at the base with everyone. He also notes that others from his martial arts are waiting for him. The squad finally arrives, and Cece announces they've reached their destination. Zhang notices the place feels different. Ice Lady explains they've shifted their base of operations. The old one was cramped, closer to the training grounds, and better for deployments. A sudden power surge transports them to secret base number 8, 18,000 meters underground. Cece adds that it can hold 2,000 people across 164 rooms, and they're free to explore. Zhang is stunned by its size, wondering how many bases the Purge Squad has established over the past 2 centuries. Situ stresses the importance of being extra prepared. Then, Cece recalls her time with the investigation team, mentioning several outposts beyond the city walls, one near the training grounds, though she isn't sure if it's still in use. This catches old Su's attention, prompting him to ask if Ma Bin is actually running the team. She remembers Ma Bin as Su's star disciple, and the captain confirms that according to Su's story, Ma Bin is secretly part of the Zhu family. When asked, old Su adds that the story goes back 10 years. Rockman vividly recalls when Deputy City Lord Huang Ziming suddenly summoned everyone to the City Lord's mansion, claiming an informant had revealed the main hideout of the Jew remnants. As captain of the investigation team, Su had never heard of such an informant. When he questioned it, Huang brushed him off, saying the source was a low-profile Purge Squad member. Given the urgency to eliminate the Jew remnants, Su didn't press further and led his team to investigate. After a week of following clues, they finally located the supposed hideout. Just as they prepared to strike, the Jew family ambushed them. Exhausted from travel, the team was caught off guard and suffered devastating losses. Amid the chaos, old Su sensed something was wrong and tried to order a retreat, but Ma Bin suddenly struck him with a strange dagger that instantly suppressed all his abilities. Su, betrayed and powerless, was captured and tortured, overhearing the Jew forces addressing Ma Bin as their lord. By chance, the dagger's effect wasn't permanent. Then, Su faked his death, and the enemy, convinced, dumped his body into the river. Using his water flow concealment technique, he merged with the current and escaped. Severely injured, he soon drifted into unconsciousness, sinking into darkness and gradually letting go of those painful memories. Now Tree Man understands why Su was so guarded guarded when they first met. He carried hidden pain and had fallen into darkness, refusing to share it despite repeated attempts. Captain is stunned to hear Huang Zhangming's name again, realizing the Zhu family took control of the investigation team 10 years ago, meaning their schemes run much deeper. Cece reflects that without the captain's promotion, she wouldn't have survived that team. Just then, the illusory barrier trio arrives, asking what's going on. Manny welcomes the seniors Jang encountered and is curious about the little bug. Jang explains he found it in the wild. It has the potential to become a king-level mutated beast, and its friendly nature could make it a valuable ally. The ladies find it adorable, while Manny tells everyone to settle in, recover, and get some rest. Meanwhile, the captain declares the investigation team their enemy, meaning they can no longer rely on the outposts and must stay vigilant. Before their next move, they need to be fully prepared for whatever comes next. It's news to the trio, and Manny asks when the investigation team became their enemy. Jang says it's a long story they'll cover together later. At Holy Ancestor Village, the city lord announces that the sect master has decreed that no outsiders may approach within a 10-mile radius due to special circumstances and orders patrols to stay vigilant. Just then, the freaking old zombie is thrown out of a portal, cursing the woman for ruining his plans and regretting not refining himself first. Lee Aokshu enters, telling the old fool to calm his temper. Everyone hails the sect master, bowing to Aoksu. The old fool complains it wasn't their deal. He was supposed to let them mobilize the zombie horde in exchange for her providing materials for his corpse refining, but Aoksu calmly reminds him that she always keeps her promises. She notes that he must realize the current situation. The two newcomers are as powerful as Feng Lexian, making it impossible to capture him alone. With the sun up, the fierce guy can transform into sunfire form, rendering his toxins ineffective. Still, she's confident it's only a matter of time before Lexian falls. Now that the Saintess has returned to the village, she expects to break through to the king level soon with her guidance. Until then, she permits him to use these high-level awakeners for his refining and confirms she will remain in seclusion. She hopes everyone behaves, and the old man bows in fear, agreeing. A week later, an instructor fights against Zhang Ping and a pink-haired girl, Wang Jianmin, to train them. The two of them manage to defeat their instructor with a set of skills, which resulted in him bearing some injuries. While the girl apologizes for that, the boy simply murmurs about how their instructor himself provoked them by calling them weak, and this angers the instructor. Once they go off to have lunch, their instructor acknowledges the improvement in their techniques, as well as in strength within just a few days. On their way out, they meet the team leader as well, who is out of rehab to work out with the other awakeners. Upon moving ahead, they stop by at the blacksmith's workshop to inform the little chubby guy about the work he'd have to do in fixing the training ground, since they wrecked it during the training session, and the girl apologizes to him upon seeing him worried. When they finally reach the dining hall, he tells the girl to go ahead and goes to the meeting room himself. The captain welcomes him and informs him that he wanted to discuss some important things regarding the trial grounds. In the Jew family's headquarters, a group of those people sit around in a circle with cloaks covering them. Another cloaked figure holds down a man in the center of their gathering as the second elder yells at him for showing up after the Saintess has been taken. However, the Grand Elder mercifully forgives that man since the Saintess's awakening was triggered due to Pearl City's Vice City Lord. Considering our boy being an unlimited class Esper, he states that he'd definitely be headed for the trial grounds. Thus, he asks Zhu Yanbing, also known as Ma Bin, about the situation on his side. Ma Bin, who's sitting with his legs on the table while smoking a cigarette, ensures that his investigation team is prepared. Moreover, he claims that the main character isn't near their league since his level is still low. In this comment, the Grand Elder advises him not to underestimate the abilities of an enemy since the true terror of an unlimited class Esper lies in their potential to dominate across levels. The second elder then highlights their main issue being the Holy Ancestor Village, which the Saintess took, and when he's expressing his worries, another person reminds the elders about their family's trump card, Zhu Yuanlong. However, that name fuels the anger of the second elder, and the elder calls him an ungrateful person for not paying back to the Zhu family for nurturing him with resources. He claims that since that man didn't follow the family's plans, he's hiding in a cave. The person who suggested that man asked the second elder to calm down and clarified that he has a clever plan of forcing that man to serve the family and increase their strength greatly. But for that, the person claims to need the help of Zhu Yang, that man's nephew, since he's the key to the Forbidden Zone. After giving some thought to the plan, the elder finally accepts it half-heartedly since it's the only option, and gives the red quill to that person after summoning it. As soon as the person catches the quill, her cloak disappears, and it turns out that person is Zhu Hongfang, and she assures the elder of not letting him down. Zhu Hingfang, who received the quill, goes to the man in the cave and tells him about her plan of reviving the Zhu family. When the man mocks her for talking about all that when she couldn't even keep an eye on his nephew, she tells him that due to that kid's nature, no one else besides this man wants to get involved with the kid. The woman reminds him about the time when the kid snuck into the armory and triggered a heavenly thunder trap, and almost got kicked out of the family until the man covered for him. While talking about it, they arrive at the Zhu family's forbidden grounds, which the man finds quite ordinary. She scoffs at his reaction, reasoning that it's due to his lack of involvement in family affairs earlier. After lighting the quill on fire, they finally enter through the door while the man remarks upon how she and other members of the family treat others' lives as dirt and have pulled the family down from grace. Upon stepping inside, his eyes widened in surprise after seeing a huge skeleton of the first patriarch's divine sunbird. He can't believe that the old men stashed the remains of the sunbird there, but the woman tells him that there's something more important than that. She then calls out the kid, telling him his uncle's here to play with him. Right then, the man notices a coin on the ground, and the woman claims that it's his nephew's. However, the man snaps at her, telling her that he's aware of her act, and demands to know the real thing. Acknowledging his intelligence, she reveals that she wants him to become the sunbird, but he gets anxious about her demand. He reminds her that it's only a skeleton, asking if she has turned to necromancy from their beast-taming traditions. She explains about having found a way to transfer the sunbird's power into another living being, but claims that no one can withstand its divine power except him. When she compliments his suitable traits, he calls it tempting, asking if he has to sacrifice himself in return. Right then, a number of assassins surround him, and he unleashes his powers, challenging them to come at him. He keeps throwing those assassins around with his strength until two of them tie his body with bone-eroding chains. When another two assassins point a severing blade and demon-sealing daggers at him, he scoffs and breaks himself free from all those threats, throwing the assassins away. Once he turns around to the woman, asking if that's all she has got, he suddenly gets a wrenching pain in his chest where he placed the found coin earlier. He immediately realizes that it's the kid's puppetry and falls down on the ground out of excruciating pain. Immediately, the woman directs the assassins to attack the man and begin the ritual. As soon as the ritual begins, he screams out in pain, questioning why the kid stabbed him in the back. As soon as the blast occurs, even the meeting room where Zhang Ping is shaking, he wonders if it's another beast tide. The earthquake turns out to be so hard that the glass windows of the base of operations end up getting cracked. Everyone starts to get escorted to a safer location, including the wounded. The captain reminds them not to leave without the Zhao brothers since they're well aware about the Holy Ancestor Village. Thus, Zhang Ping volunteers to find them since it's a risky job because they're enemies. Jinbo is about to go, but when Zhang Ping volunteers, the white-haired girl tries to stop him. However, he assures her about using his water body to deal with any possibly dangerous situation. The girl reminds him that those brothers are both high-level awakeners and can even try to take him down along with themselves. And if the portal collapses in such a condition, he'll be trapped since they're 1,800 meters into the ground. To solve the issue, the senior suggests going along with him, so she finally agrees. Therefore, the three of them rush to save the brothers, telling the girl to go ahead with the others. While the kid is having fun seeing his uncle turn into the divine sunbird, saying it's time his uncle should return home since their Jew family is the best, his uncle writhes in pain. Zhu Hongfang tells him to stop moving since the ritual has been completed already, and now he can be a part of the divine sunbird itself. An assassin standing beside the woman questions her about why she teamed up with the celestial foxes and kidnapped the Saintess when she was this way. After calling him a fool, she explains that the reason for teaming up with the celestial foxes was that only King Zhui could hold back the captain. According to the elders, in the centuries the Zhu family has fought against the captain, he has displayed over 10,000 different abilities. Even though he hasn't broken through to king level, his strength rivals that of a true king, and because of their long-standing conflict, they've discovered his very few weaknesses. In the early days, the Zhu family didn't have strong mind controllers, so he couldn't realize that his resistance to mental abilities was actually quite weak. Thus, once they found the celestial foxes, they formed a pact with the king and seriously injured the captain. Now the reason for choosing to revive the sunbird is due to the urgency of the matter since it took her 40 years to refine the drop of blood she has. During all that time, she was unable to use her beast control arts and endured constant humiliation and mockery. Yet this blood's control capabilities are still inferior to the Saintess's blood. Now with the Saintess's return to that village, Zhang Ping might also enter the trial grounds to gain king level power, and if either of them succeeds, the Zhu family is done for. Although she knows her blood pact might not fully control the sunbird, she has no choice but to risk it all. With that said, the divine sunbird breaks through the roof of the cave and rises up to the sky. The purge squad can't understand why it's so bright outside until Grandmaster Feng spots the sunbird and wonders if it was the reason for the earthquake. When the others look at it, they can't believe it's the Zhu family's divine sunbird, whereas Zhu Hongfang screams victoriously over her success and announces the Zhu family to be the ruler of everything. However, her eyes widen in surprise when the bird rises from the ground and flies away without her command. The Zhao brothers lie on the floor of the dungeon they're locked in, discussing what they should do to escape. Suddenly, a giant rock falls from the roof, but before it could hit them, Zhang Ping arrives there and quickly catches the rock midair using his nether mist body. Once the seniors have carried the brothers out of the cell, our boy also throws the rock and runs outside to the seniors and the brothers, telling them that now they need to get to the portal room. Before they could move from there, another rock, bigger than before, fell upon them. The falling rocks feel similar to him, and he loses himself in his thoughts while staring at the falling rocks. rock, wondering if he's going to die once again by getting buried in rubble. Since he stayed that way, the seniors had to step up and turn into their tree forms to protect the others from getting crushed under the rocks. They wake him up after yelling out his name and tell him to find a plan since they can't balance those rocks on themselves for much longer. Upon analyzing the situation, he deduces the chances of reaching the portal to be none. When the brothers continue demanding him to rescue them, he yells at them to be quiet. The seniors tell him about their limitations of being unable to rescue all of them quickly. When he also claims to be able to escape using his water body, he mentions how the brothers would end up getting buried here. Right then, the captain informs them about having taken blood samples of the boys and finding out that their saints' blood compositions are completely different, and when combined, they generate a unique energy wave. Since he awakened Old King's blood by using the older brother's blood, he may create a way out of this mess if he absorbs the younger brother's blood. Once he gets to know the ulterior motive of the captain, he asks the brothers if they have a deal since they continue to act arrogantly. Without saying such, the younger brother sheds blood through his knife and offers him to take as much as he wants. After using it, he doesn't feel any change until he suddenly coughs out some blood. This results in him awakening the ability King's Gem, which enables him to greatly boost his contracted beast's powers and base stats for a short period. On the other hand, the divine sunbird keeps firing up the trees around them. Thus, to protect themselves, the white-haired girl builds a wall of snow between them and the sunbird. When Manny urges her about them leaving, she denies it, stating that Ping hasn't arrived yet. Manny forces her as the portal has been shut, and the three of them will come out using their own abilities. Moreover, the divine sunbird even kills the Who family members, which signifies how out of control it has gotten. At last, the white-headed girl agrees to leave. Grandmaster Feng and others arrive by then, and they tell the girls to retreat, claiming that they'll handle the situation themselves. Huffing and panting, Ping finally comes out of the base while dragging the Zhao brothers in a nether mist cage attached to thick metal chains. Upon being asked about how he made it possible, he exclaims about drinking the younger brother's blood, which evolved Old King's blood to King's Gem. He elucidates about how he temporarily boosted the seniors by 5 levels using that technique and made them become able to break through to the king level in the nick of time. While the seniors also join Grandmaster in combating the divine sunbird, our boy can't help but wonder what kind of vision he saw after drinking the blood. The vision consisted of quite a number of men caged inside giant red balls, and he wonders what it could be. Accepting it as one of the many secrets of the holy ancestor village, he decides to ignore it. His gaze then falls upon the awakeners getting crushed by the divine sunbird. Even the Grandmaster's flame couldn't stand a chance against the solar energy infused flames of the sunbird. When he further mentions the senior tree being weak against the sunbird, it clicks something in the mind Manny. She calls out to everyone, instructing the barrier team to buy her 30 minutes by distracting the sunbird, and asks the others to get the beacon transmitter from Zhang Shoujiang. When she further asks the white-haired girl to help her, the captain smiles inside the golden bracelet space, thinking how much she has grown. The captain then commands Ping to help them distract the bird, so he takes out his nether mist scythe. While the barrier team fights and distracts the divine sunbird, Manny points at a map and explains her plan about the white-haired girl suppressing the solar power of the sunbird for a short time, so that the barrier team can help set a trap to restrain the sunbird. Furthermore, the beacon transmitters are supposed to be buried at the designated spots to boost the team's effective range. One of the people from the barrier team temporarily seals off the air around the sunbird and tells the senior tree to hit it. As asked, the senior drags it down and slams it to the ground. Once the vacuum effect is gone, 3 of them lunge forward for an attack. Subsequently, the blue-haired says some spell and unleashes his Dragon Abyss sword. Since the Zhao brothers' bloodline has merged with that of our boy, he's able to break through to level 19 in a single shot. Thus, using both the King's Gem and the nether mist, his attacks are near that of an apex level, and he helps Ming to unleash the sword. Once the Dragon Abyss sword has been unleashed, they both throw it towards the divine sunbird by